you had the battle between Hot Rod and Joey Teeth Logano. The 4 and the double two. Harvick would take the lead at lap 167, but the battle continues. Lap 173, you have Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano, and Carl Edwards. Now, see, this is how you know that Kevin Harvick's car, was the faster car on Sunday, because when you had Logano in front, his lead was only 0.2 over second place Harvick. Now you got Harvick in front, and his lead is a 1.2. So there you go. And then at lap 190, this would be the last 10 laps. Kevin Harvick still in front. This time Kyle Busch in second and Chase Elliott in third, the 4 to 18 and 24. Kevin Harvick with a 2.0 second lead over second place Kyle Busch and a 6.6 second lead over third place Chase Elliott. Now, 196, the 21 car goes into the wall. That was Ryan Blaney. No question there. And here's where things get interesting. Kyle Busch's car starts smoking and his tire, string of rubber, and this brings out question number 6. Kyle Busch had an issue with the tire, same front tire, both nights. On Saturday, also his tire went down in his car in the Xfinity Series, and we'll get to that in a moment because I thought that was probably the craziest finish of the weekend. But if you know any Kevin Harvick fans, they probably are not too happy about Sunday's results. But question number 6 comes out, and this will be lap 198 for Kevin Harvick. Assuming Kyle Busch's tire going down. NASCAR calling it a right front tire rub. And was going too fast to enter pit road, so he actually had to go around again around the track and then come in, because you don't want to get popped, especially if you're running second. Last thing you want to do is to come in there under caution and get popped for speeding. Now that messes up your day right there. Race off pit road won by Denny Hamlin, and Denny Hamlin would take the lead into the restart. The top 3 going into the restart, and this is important because this is the last restart of the race, and that's Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, and Jimmy Johnson first, second, and third. And this would send it into overtime. A green-white checkered attempt at 2:03, or overtime attempt, as they're calling it now. That was completed successfully. So you had Hamlin, Harvick, Johnson, top 3. Final lap comes out. Okay, the white flag's flying, and all of a sudden, Jimmy Johnson takes the lead. And that's it. Seals the deal. Jimmy Johnson, Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, and Stenhouse Jr. round out the top 5 on Sunday. So on Saturday, it was the TreatMyClot.com 300, 150 laps. Start time 4:18 and finish time was 6:25, around 2 hours, 8 minutes, but I actually think it was actually 2 hours and 3 minutes. Paul said it was Daniel Suarez in the number 19 car. And this was a crazy race. And see, if you're a hardcore racing fan, there's nothing. You get a guy that led 133 laps, and then on the final lap, the white flag's in the air, final lap, and it looked like Kyle Busch was going to take this win, and we're going to get to it. And all of a sudden, you see rubber shooting out from underneath the 18 NOS Energy blue and red Toyota on Saturday, and it was just a crazy finish. And I really think that it was probably the most exciting finish of the 2 races this weekend. But that's just my opinion. It's open for discussion and debate. Paul said it was Daniel Suarez on Saturday. But he didn't have the lead for long because Eric Jones quickly takes the lead during the first lap. And then, but then Daniel Suarez gets back into the lead. In fact, top 3 at lap 3 was Daniel Suarez, Kyle Larson, and Kyle Busch. So Eric Jones dropped all the way down, and then it was Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch moves into second place, okay, and then up to first. So top 5, lap 5, Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, Daniel Suarez, and then at lap 6 it was Kyle Busch, Daniel Suarez, Kyle Larson. But then Eric Jones comes back into third place because at lap 10 you had Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, and Eric Jones. Question number 1 comes out though at lap 10. This is for Ryan Preece. It's a 0-1 car. He spins at turn 4. No lucky dog this time. Kevin Harvick, who on Saturday was driving the 88 car, he'll take the lead. He wins the race off pit road. But Mario Gosselin, the number 90 car, was actually the control car, and he'll take the lead into the restart at lap 14. But Kyle Larson takes the lead right after that restart. So Kyle Larson takes the lead at lap 15. Kyle Busch takes the lead right back at lap 16, and then you have the battle between the 18 and the 42. And these two guys were racing hard on Saturday. Top 5 lap 25. Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, Eric Jones, Ryan Blaney, and and Elliott Sadler. Kyle Busch at lap 25 with a 1.3 second lead over Kyle Larson, which grew to a 1.7 over Kyle Larson at lap 29, and a 2.6 over third place Eric Jones. Now, question number 2 would come out at lap 30. This is for fluid on the track. David Starr's car is smoking. Left some possible his engine blew on him. David Starr was in the 44 car on Saturday. Joey Gase, the number 50 car, was the lucky dog. And Eric Jones, the number 20, popped for speeding on pit road. Brendan Golan in the number 62 car would win the race off pit road, take the lead into the restart lap 35. Kyle Larson, however, takes the lead right back lap 35 until lap 36, and everyone starts to scatter. You know, you get that moment in the race where everyone's racing kind of close, but then you get to that moment where everyone just hitting it, and then the cars just spread apart. And then they start separating, as they say. Eric Almirola clips the wall at lap 35, no caution. Almirola on Saturday driving the 98 car. Top 3 lap 40. Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, Eric Jones, 18, 42, and the 20. Kyle Busch with a 0.5 second lead over Kyle Larson at lap 40, which grew through a 2.3 second lead at lap 44, and a 3.4 second lead over third place Eric Jones. And then question number 3 will come out. This time for the 07 car, Ray Blagger Jr., lap 46. He spins coming out of turn 4. Damage again as the splitter grabs that grass. Lucky dog is the 70 car of Derek Cope. Kyle Busch takes the lead into the restart lap 51. Top 5 lap 55. Kyle Busch, Eric Jones, Kyle Larson, Daniel Suarez, and Ryan Blaney. And so Daniel Suarez moves up to 3rd, lap 57 into 58. And the top 3 once again being occupied by Joe Gibbs Racing. And at lap 60, Kyle Busch, Eric Jones, and Daniel Suarez. But Eric and Kyle Busch with a 1.4 second lead over Eric Jones at lap 62. The 16 crew popped for throwing equipment. It was a fuel can. The 16 car driven by Ryan Reed has to serve a pass-through and gets black flagged. And of course, black flag, the first one is the warning. The one with the cross on it means they stopped scoring you. So that means you probably irritated the officials. And then at lap 75, Eric Almirola holds on to the lead, but Kyle Busch would take the lead right back. In fact, lap 80, Kyle Busch, Eric Jones, and Kyle Larson now make the top 3. And then Kyle Busch with a 1.6 second lead over Eric Jones and a 2.7 second lead over third place Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson has a tire issue, flat left tire, still green racing. That was like lap 98. Up and still no caution up until lap 100 when the yellow flag would fly. However, it wasn't for Kyle Larson. It was for BJ McLeod, the 78 car, who stalls on the backstretch. Eric Almirola is the lucky dog. Race off pit road, lap 8, won by Kyle Busch, and Kyle Busch would take the lead into the restart, and that would be at lap 104. Top 3 at lap 110, Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney, and Daniel Suarez. And then from 110 going into 111, it was Kyle Busch, Daniel Suarez, and Ryan Blaney. Kyle Busch, 2-second lead over Daniel Suarez. So you could see that Kyle Busch was busted moving on Saturday. Okay? And then, my goodness, it was just a crazy race on Saturday. So, and here we go. Okay, at lap 140, which is the top 10, Kyle Busch, Eric Jones, Daniel Suarez, Austin Dillon, Darrell Wallace Jr. make the top 5. 18, 20, 19, 2, and the 6. Kyle Busch with a 1.5 second lead over second place Eric Jones. But at lap 148, you had Kyle Busch running first and Daniel Suarez running second. Third place Austin Dillon. The white flag flies at lap 149. This race is about to come to an end. And Kyle Busch, all you saw was the rubber shoot out from underneath this car. And the feeling I got when I saw that, okay, and a hardcore racing fan understands, this guy led 130 plus laps, and the white flag, this is the final lap, okay, and there was some issue with Kyle Busch, thought that they should have waited the yellow, bring out a caution, but this was already a final lap. The caution does not come out on the final lap. Like, they might throw the caution and let everybody know that there's a crash or whatever, but that's it. Once you're in white flag racing, it's over. Someone crashes, keep the cars going, and then they'll take care of it after the race is over. And this was a crazy race. And the crazy thing was right behind him was, well, not too far behind, but you had the 19 car who was running second, Elliott Sadler, and then it looked, as soon as you saw Kyle Busch lose that tire, boom, here comes Daniel Suarez running second, now in first, trying to get that win. And then here comes number 3 car, Austin Dillon, who was running third, who just gets around Daniel Suarez and boom, punches it to the finish line. And that's why I say I really feel that Saturday could have been a little more exciting than Sunday's finish, but still, Kevin Harvick on Sunday leading 140 laps. But just the thought of seeing that tire go down, and at that point we start to realize, okay, this is going to be he's going to win it. He's winning it. And then you see something like this happens, and it changes the whole race. And then you would have thought the second place guy was going to come in for the second, but it was the third guy that passed him to go get the checkered flag. And that's what makes racing so exciting. So stick around, and we'll shoot the breeze a little bit on Formula One. Not a lot of stuff on Formula One, but then we'll get into all the good stuff that like we always do. So stick around. This is the Racing Podcast. Alright, we're back. So, boy, first off, before I get going, I gotta tell you, I hardly ever watch Formula One. Only because, it's on at weird times, and I just never really got into it, but, I said to myself, let me try to get into it this year, because, it might not be that bad. It's not. It's fun. Now, if I was to compare the 3, NASCAR, Indy, and Formula One, and if you was to ask me, hey, what do you think is more exciting? I'm a big NASCAR fan. Now, IndyCar is exciting, but NASCAR gives you a race every week. Except for next weekend, and we'll get to that in a moment. But it took me a little while to get into this Formula 1, and I'm like most people. Most people that watch Formula 1, well, I'm not going to say that. Most Americans probably just watch the Monaco Grand Prix, right? If they're awake for it, because it starts at 7 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. But it was still interesting to watch. A big wreck. We're going to get into that in a moment. But it was the Australian Grand Prix on Sunday. Yes, it started at 1 in the morning on Sunday. Pole sitter Lewis Hamilton, 22 cars on the field, start time 1:07 a.m., and it finally wrapped up at 2:55 a.m., 1 hour 29 minutes. Arnold Schwarzenegger was in attendance, so there you go. And so it was interesting. Now, Sebastian Vettel, Kimi Räikkönen, and Nico Rosberg was the top 3, lap 1 and lap 10. At lap 11, Vettel with a 2.4 second lead over Kimi Räikkönen, which grew to a 2.7 at lap 12. 14 drivers start pitting. Now, here's what's weird about Formula 1. What they do at the beginning of the race, what we call pace lap, Formula 1 calls a formation lap. And and if you watch Formula 1, they go around and then they come back to the starting grid and then stop because they got the lights there. So the light turns green and then they're off. A couple little weird things. One, when a caution comes out, It's not the whole track. It's usually whatever sector the incident is in, that section is the caution. So you got to kind of get used to all of that.